press release on the occasion of 98th anniversary of the signing of the Treaty of Sevres. Dear friends, August 10 is the day of signing the Treaty of Sevres. The articles on Armenia in the Peace Treaty of Sevres in 1920, the decisions of the Paris Assembly during the 1920 and also the Arbitral Award about the Armenian-Turkish border made by the 28th President of the United States, Woodrow Wilson, on November 22, 1920, are of crucial importance for the protection and implementation of the rights of the Armenian people. This is the reason why the Republic of Western Armenia, Armenia, has ratified the Treaty of Sevres, and that is why, in May 2018, the Republic of Western Armenia, Armenia, appealed to the United Nations for membership as well as for implementation of the Arbitral Award made by U.S. President Woodrow Wilson on November 22, 1920, confirming the Republic of Western Armenia, Armenia, on the territory demarcated in the Arbitral Award. Now we will present one of these two appeals, namely one filed for the implementation of the Arbitral Award made by 28th President of the United States, Woodrow Wilson, on November 22, 1920. We want to note you that the presented text is the abbreviated and shortened version of the original appeal. The Republic of Western Armenia, August 10, 2018. On the implementation of the Arbitral Award of 28th President of the United States of America, Woodrow Wilson, on November 22, 1920, with full name of the decision of the President of the United States, Woodrow Wilson, on the establishment of the state border between Turkey and Armenia, the issue of Armenia's borders, maritime access, and about the demilitarization of the Turkish territory adjoining the Armenian border. Taking into consideration the Republic of Western Armenia, State of Armenia, fully adopts the statutory goals and objectives of the United Nations, has recognized and ratified the Charter of the United Nations as a subject of international law, as a continuity state of Armenia of 1920s, assumed all the rights and obligations of the state of Armenia, recognized, acceded, and ratified the most important international treaties, conventions, and declarations. Listed is attached. Taking into consideration background of the question when, at the beginning of 1990 in Paris, the Armenian National Congress was convened, among the most important results of the Congress there was the election of the delegation of United Armenian, co-chaired by Boghos Nubar and Aveti Saharonyan, and the approval of prepared and presented on February 12, 1990 at the Paris Peace Conference a joint memorandum of the demands of the Armenians, which included the rationale for the creation of an independent Armenian state and refined its territory, which included 7 vilayets of Western Armenia, including Trabzon, Republic of Armenia, and Kilikia. On February 26, 1919, the united delegation participated in the meeting of Council of 10, where they repeated the basic requirements of the memorandum. The delegation was also received on April 17, 1990, by U.S. President Woodrow Wilson, who assured that he would do everything possible to protect the territorial claims of Armenians. In response to the submitted requirements of Armenian United National Delegation of Allied General Council adopted on January 19, 1920, the following decision and de facto recognize the state of Armenia. First, the government of the state of Armenia is recognized as a government. The decision does not predetermine the Armenian state's border issue. Also, in spite of human morality and the right to recognize the rights of Armenia to their historical homeland, in 1894, 1923, the three successive Turkish governments, Sultan, Young Turk, and Kemal, committed a terrible crime, the genocide of the Armenian people, its deportation from their historical homeland, and the occupation of Western Armenia, which in turn led to tragic demographic changes, resulted in an unprecedented decrease of the Armenian population in the region as an additional dividends for the crimes. They have managed to change the national balance between the peoples of Western Armenia. It is already 90 years since the territory of Western Armenia remains occupied by Turkey. The governments of Great Britain, France, and Russia were the first to condemn the genocide of the Armenian people, who in their joint statement on May 24, 1915, characterized the actions of the Turkish government against Armenians as crimes against humanity and civilization, and warned of the criminal responsibility of their organizers and performers. The jurisdiction of National Assembly, Parliament of Western Armenia extends both to the citizens of the Republic of Western Armenia and to the territories of Western Armenia occupied by Turkey, which de jure and de facto are regions of Western Armenia. According to the decree of government of Russia, the Soviet People Commissars about Turkish Armenia, about Western Armenia, of January 11, 1918. According to the decision of the Supreme Council of the Allied Nations during the Paris Conference on de facto recognition of the independence of the State of Armenia on January 19, 1920. According to the decision of the Supreme Council of the Allied Nations on de jure recognition of the independence of the State of Armenia on May 11, 1920. To the Declaration of Independence of Armenian Kilikia, August 4, 1920. Sevres Peace Treaty, Articles 88, 93, which concerns the Armenian state, of August 10, 1920. According to the arbitral decision of 28th President of the United States of America, Woodrow Wilson, of November 22, 1920, with full name of the decision of the President of the United States, Woodrow Wilson, on the establishment of the state border between Turkey and Armenia, the issue of Armenia borders, maritime access, and about the demilitarization of the Turkish territory adjoining the Armenian border, taking into consideration that, based on the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples of September 13, 2007, the National Identity and Citizenship Institute of Armenians of Western Armenia was established, on the basis of which the legal and political foundations of the Republic of Western Armenia, the State of Armenia, and its states structures were formed. In accordance with Article 21 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, since 2013, the Republic of Western Armenia, the State of Armenia, has formed absolutely legitimate borders of state power: the National Assembly, Parliament, the government, and the Institute of Presidency. The Republic of Western Armenia, the State of Armenia, by adopting the relevant laws, recognized, acceded, and ratified the Charter of the United Nations and all most important international treaties, conventions, and declarations, taking into consideration that the First Republic of Armenia, subsequently the Second Republic of Armenia under the conditions of aggression and coercion of the Alexandropol Treaty, December 2, 1920, and the Kars Treaty of October 13, 1921, renounced the rights granted to Armenian people in 1920 regarding unified Armenian claims being forced to remain only with the jurisdiction of Republic of Armenia, that is to say, Eastern Armenia, and the Armenians of Eastern Armenia, taking into consideration that the Treaty of Sevres is a peace treaty, that armed conflict do not cease in the Middle East, that the implementation of the provisions of the Treaty of Sevres can be a decisive step to the establishment of genuine peace and cooperation in the Middle East, and to, according to the borders of state of the Middle East, including the borders of state of Armenia, were approved by Sevres Peace Treaty, concerning that there was the Arbitral Award of 28th U.S. President Woodrow Wilson on November 22, 1920, but which was not being implemented yet. Taking into consideration that Armenians of Western Armenia, like any nation in the world, have the right to live, to develop, and have their future, which means that they have the right to demand the establishment of their own state in their ancestral homeland in Western Armenia. Taking also into consideration that the Armenians of Western Armenia and the state structures of Republic of Western Armenia, the state of Armenia, declare that they take up the defense of the rights granted to Armenian people by Sevres Peace Treaty and the Arbitral Award of 28th President of the United States of America, Woodrow Wilson, and to implement these rights to life, acting as a continuity of a state of Armenia recognized de facto and de jure in 1920. We appeal to you to implement and realize the establishment of the Republic of Western Armenia, the state of Armenia, within the territory established by the Arbitral Award of 28th U.S. President Woodrow Wilson. This statement on the implementation of the Arbitral Award of 28th President of the United States of America, Woodrow Wilson, on November 22, 1920, was adopted by the government and the National Assembly Parliament of Western Armenia on May 29, 2018, at the 7th session of the National Assembly Parliament of Western Armenia of the first convocation. An extract from the protocol of the 7th session is attached. The original is in Armenian and the translation is in Russian as well. President of the Republic of Western Armenia, Radik Hamoyan, Prime Minister of the Republic of Western Armenia, Tigran Pashabezyan, President of the National Assembly Parliament of the Western Armenia, Armen Tersarkisyan, May 29, 2018.